Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In this video I want to discuss why I don't and why you probably shouldn't use AI to write legal arguments. So AI, generally speaking, it's very useful for drafting, for summarizing, and for structuring legal documents, but it's not useful for strategy, arguments, or judgment calls. So in this video I'm going to discuss a little bit more in depth about why that's the case. So I'm going to share my screen right here. This is a little diagram I have. And the first reason why I don't think you should use AI for writing legal arguments is that AI tends to just get legal arguments wrong. It tends to hallucinate. Not that it's guaranteed to hallucinate, but there's a possibility of hallucination, even if it's a small chance. And when it comes to legal arguments, we need accuracy. And if we're saying they're relying on AI for full discretion, those hallucinations could be very detrimental. So, yeah, can it write a legal argument? It can. It could even cite cases, it could do all these things, but it's prone to hallucination if not careful. So, it's extremely dangerous, and we all understand the detriment of having a hallucination. So, in this example right here, we have three different holdings. The first one is the real one. The second one is a real holding, but the incorrect one that we're referencing. And the third one is fully fabricated. So you can see, this would be, say, the real AI output, Smith versus Jones. This one is another AI output, but incorrect holding, Davis versus Miller. And then this one is fully fabricated and never existed to begin with, Henderson versus Crawford. So AI can have three different outputs. Yes, does it have most of the time the possibility to reference the correct one? Yes. However, it also has probability of hallucinating with either the wrong holding or a completely fabricated holding. So this is just the first example I wanted to kind of discuss, in which you may see AI hallucinate, and one of those reasons why whenever it comes to judgment, AI may not always be the best at that. So now we're going to go into the second one. This is with regards to strategic advice, okay? So the problem is, when giving strategic advice, the model does not know your client, your judge, your opposing counsel, or the settlement history in your jurisdiction. So it's just not able to weigh all of those factors the same way a professional could, because it doesn't have the full context. It just has the little context of what you give it. And even if you were to provide larger amounts of context, there is still that risk of hallucination, because we don't want to rely on AI for judgments. We want to rely on it as an assistant to help us draft, not as the full decision maker. So let's just say this is just an example here. Let's say our question was, demand policies are open low. The AI may respond, and there's a good chance that it responds to this: consider liability strength, injury severity, and ensure settlement history. However, the problem with this is this response is not very helpful. It doesn't actually give you a clear-cut answer. It just gives you a suggestion, and we already understand that hey, we need to consider liability strength, injury severity, and ensure settlement history. That's nothing new. So generally speaking, the AI, especially when it comes to legal advice, it could give you something that sounds right, that sounds like strategy, but it's just a generic answer to a generic question, not a targeted, specific answer to what we actually need. And yes, is there the chance that it could get that right as well? Absolutely, but we don't want to bank on that. We don't want to rely on that due to the repercussions of incorrect responses. And then the final example that I have right here, this is the third diagram, is an example of judgment calls on ambiguous facts. So legal work, it's full of situations where the facts support more than one interpretation, and you may have to choose between those different interpretations. AI, it will present both sides with apparent balance and leave you exactly where you started. So in the case of this example right here, Let's just say these were the facts. Client ran red light, opposing had green. No witnesses, ambiguous police report. The AI will respond or may respond. Liability is disputed. Arguments exist for both parties. And yes, that is theoretically speaking accurate. The client ran the red light and the opposing had a green light. However, this response is not really helping us because there's just no real utility of that response, even if it's accurate. So this is just something that you need to be careful of when it comes to very strict judgment calls, which require very specific interpretation and nuances. AI is not going to be the best at that. A professional will. So now that I've kind of shown you these three examples, you may be asking yourself, then if AI isn't capable of giving legal advice properly, then what should we actually use AI for in our space of work? The main thing that you should use AI for is to save time, to handle low judgment work that attorneys can spend time on more high, so attorneys can spend time on more high judgment work. For example, let's say you're running an intake call. After the intake call, we want to produce a structured case summary. That's all just low judgment work. We're just taking an intake call and structuring that into a case summary. Let's say we're reading a deposition transcript and we want to summarize that to flag the admissions, any inconsistencies. This, the AI could do very well because you're given a fixed input and we're just having it draft an output for us. Now, even with that output that the AI does provide us, the main focus this will have is to help you save time. It isn't a full replacement and you shouldn't expect it to be a full replacement. Just as if you were in school as a student in university, you wouldn't just sit there and write an essay one time and then submit that essay. You're going to sit there and look it over, make sure everything sounds practical and plausible, and you're going to make modifications and amendments to it. But AI really does help save time and helps you draft responses in what's considered low judgment work. So the attorneys who get the most out of AI are the ones who use it for clear administrative work so that they can focus on the parts of the practice that actually require a lawyer. And that's pretty much it for this video. This is what I don't suggest use AI to write legal arguments to formulate actual judgment calls. That is for the actual professional. So thank you guys for watching. If you like the video, make sure to like the video, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. And if you're interested in working with me, visit my website. It's linked down below in the description of the video, as well as a corresponding blog post to this video if you want more information. At my website, you can book a call with me if you want to discuss anything. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.